Welcome back to the disaster which is my third cut silage. This video promises to be pretty epic because it's going to be an absolute nightmare for me. I tried to get started in some mowing last night and this ended up happening. Oh my word! I am actually soaked already. What the heck? Absolute disaster. And this morning it was meant to be dry from about 8 AM and it's just mizzled for the last 2 hours. So the grass is absolutely soaking, like beads of water just sitting on it. But we have no choice. We can't wait any longer. We just have to get started mowing. It is currently 11 o'clock. I have another guy coming to mow some grass for me this afternoon, but that still leaves me 70 acres to get mowed by 5 o'clock this evening. This is day 2 of our third cut silage. The last video you will have seen me mowing for day 1. I did record lots of footage of me lifting that silage. I'm going to chuck in a little bit of that now whilst I mow all this wet grass and hope we don't get any more rain. So I will see you later on this evening when I'm nearly finished mowing, when hopefully the sun will be out and the grass will be dry. Okay, we're off to the field in the rain. Oh, what a start to the day. I just want this third cut done. Like, I just want it done. Oh my days, it's definitely still raining. 4-wheel drive. Let's get into the row, check the harvester actually works. It's coming out the spout, that's a good sign. It's a very good sign. Okay, just double check everything. Sorry, I'm not paying attention to you. Quite a lot of changes with the harvester. It's got a new spout liner, which I need to make sure is fitted properly. It got a new bearing on the feed rollers. Seems to be doing the job. And we also took on and fitted the reel again, which means I adjusted how much ground pressure is on the reel. That seems to be good as well. So, oh, silage is stressful. So I can confirm the grass is wet. Like really wet. Not ideal. But at least it has stopped raining. So it can only get drier. Right, I will catch up with you later on in the day. Probably near the end of the day. I am going to sit back and enjoy myself and listen to like a 5-hour podcast about artificial intelligence or something. Or space. I do love space. Maybe a Joe Rogan podcast if he's had some good guests on recently. I'll see you later on for another update. It is currently 20 to 5. I've lost Ellie, who was running the compactor. I've lost Calvin because he's away to milk. So I'm now down to just 2 trailers. Hence why for the first time today, I've had a chance to get out of the tractor. The good news is that the grass has dried up quite a bit. And the last field has been a really, really good crop. The bad news is, well, actually there is no bad news, only good news. So we've probably got about an hour to go until we're totally finished, which means that it has taken us from 9:15 this morning when I left the yard until 6:45. So that is 8.5 hours to do 75 acres, which is really not bad. And we are finally done. It's currently 6:30, so that took 45 minutes longer than expected because we had a slight issue with the JCB. Basically, it ran out of adblue. And you may wonder, Andrew, how did you let it run out of adblue? Well, let me tell you a story about what happened this morning. I was filling my harvester with inoculant and my dad came in and said, the JCB needs adblue, but I can't get the pump to work. To which I replied, the pump definitely works. All you have to do is move the handle up and down. Then he walked off again. So I assumed he had went and filled the JCB with adblue. like any sane, normal person would do. But in fact, he had just concluded that a third of a tank of AdBlue was plenty to do the silage. It was not plenty. The JCB went into limp mode. I couldn't get anyone on the phone, so I had to get Jessica to cart the 3 kids to Fian Valley to buy some AdBlue for the JCB. I was very fed up sitting waiting for 45 minutes. But anyway, we're done now. Let's go take a look at the silage pit. We're going to get it rolled now this evening and leave it so it's nice and handy to seal it tomorrow morning. We are meant to have a new roof on the silage pit, but it's now taken so long that we've had no choice but to fill it with silage. It's actually filled up really well. It'll definitely be enough silage for the dry cows over winter. Do you want me to carry you? I don't want you getting stung. 1, 2, 3. Ugh. Right, me and Ezra will go home for our dinner. Someone seen me recording and tooted the lorry at me. So the grass is very, very wet. Like, very, very wet. If I rolled in it, I'd be soaked. But I'll tell you what I'm gonna do to try and manage this situation on our way to the next field. I forgot what I got out to do. Fold up the end cap of the mower. I've also decided I prefer my rear mower to them triples we had. Does a way better job of conditioning. The in and out thing is just so good. And way easier to set the ground pressure. First thing I've done is I've increased my cutting height. We're currently mowing at about 12 centimeters. It means we end up with a lighter crop, which should dry easier. The second thing I'm doing, which is also going to make the biggest impact, is I'm paying someone to ted all the grass out. He's coming later on this afternoon when we're certain there's not going to be any more rain. He's going to ted all this grass out and hopefully help get the bottom of it dry. Third thing I've done is I've put my contractor who's going to mow some grass for me off until later on this evening to give the grass more time to dry out as a standing crop, and he is going to mow more grass for me than I had intended. So hopefully it'll be in better shape than the grass I am currently mowing. Oh, this is so hard to get out of. I'll take that gate post out. Added benefit of doing that would be my neighbour couldn't put sheep in this field again. So you know what? I'm actually going to take that gate post out. So there are the 3 decisions I've made to try and make sure my grass has the best chance possible to dry. These are a really hard junction to get out of. I can't see onto the road. You just kind of have to pull out and hope for the best. Okay, we're hoping for the best. Car coming. Oh, for goodness sake. Hoping for the best. Lorry coming this way. We're going for it. We're going for it. So the next question some of you might have is, why have you not just called the whole thing off? Why are you still trying to do silage when there is so much rain? And there's a few reasons. Number 1, it needs to be cut now so that I will actually get a 4th cut. I could wait and hope the weather gets better, but what happens if there is no good weather next week and I end up cutting this 3rd cut in the middle of August? I will have nothing to cut come the middle of September. That's another benefit of raising the cutting height, is that this stuff should catch up on the stuff we cut last week to leave it all ready to cut for a 4th cut in the middle of September. Next reason why I haven't changed my plans is because I organised all of this over the weekend. And I am really, really reluctant to cancel plans when I've already organised everything. And the final reason why I'm in such a panic to get this done, and why I started mowing myself this morning when it was raining instead of waiting and maybe doing a little bit of silage on Thursday, is because I'm meant to be going on holidays for 1 day. My family is all down in Portrush, which is like a seaside town here in Northern Ireland, and I promised them I would come down on Wednesday. I didn't tell them what time on Wednesday, which has allowed me to lift silage all day on Wednesday. But the plan is to seal the silage pit on Wednesday night and then head on an hour-and-a-half drive to the coast at midnight on Wednesday evening. And if you combine all of that together, my hope is that later on this evening when we start lifting the grass, it is actually going to be somewhat dry. And tomorrow, when we're lifting the bulk of the grass, it will actually be dry. And the nice thing for all of you is that you're going to get answers to them questions within the next 20 minutes in this video. Whereas for me, I have to wait a day to find out. I mean, if I didn't tell you that the grass was soaking, I could pass it off as actually dry. And that is everything mowed. Last night I mowed 10 acres. I've just finished mowing about 60 today. And my contractor just finished mowing 43 acres about 20 minutes ago. So we have 110 acres on the ground. We started tedding it out about 2 hours ago, and almost all of it is going to be tedded out this evening. And most importantly, the big ball in the sky has made an appearance. All this grass is actually really pretty dry considering how much rain there was earlier on. Still a little bit shiny, but it is just cut. Here, I fell over. I've been in that tractor seat a long time. I actually think I'm going to get away with this, you know. I think the grass is actually going to be pretty good. I don't think the grass is going to be catastrophically wet. Oh my goodness, what a day. If I have a gap in the trailers later on, I'll turn the camera on, jump out and show you what the grass is like that we mowed this morning in the rain. I'm hoping it's gonna be drier than I expect, but I don't really know. Catch up with you in a couple of hours, or else tomorrow morning. Welcome back to the final day of Third Cut Silage 2025. I can't wait for this to be over. Last night I didn't have a single second between the loads, so I can only apologise for not giving you an update on the grass. But we can do that this morning. First thing you'll notice, still no effluent. So it actually came in surprisingly dry. Obviously it's very hard for me to get that across on camera, but it's not dry silage, but it is surprisingly dry. Before I go and get meal for them calves, let me explain what I have to do this morning before we start. Now that we have a ramp up to the top of the silo, I have to lift all them straw bales off, take the rest of the cow mats off that are down the sides, and then lift all the gravel bags. Not a fun job first thing in the morning. And hopefully by this evening, this silage pit will be full. Oh my word, stop mooing at me! If you're asking the very sensible question, which is, why on earth did you put straw bales on top of a silo you planned to open? I didn't plan to open this silo. I had no idea my second cut was going to look like that. For those of you who have been watching this channel for over a year, you will know how little silage was in these silage pits in comparison last year. So the last thing I expected was to end up with two absolutely crammed silage pits with still fourth cut to go. It's fine, it's not that big of a deal. It's just an extra hour's work. Oh my goodness, I'm sweating so much. Okay, so finally we get to the point of this video. Lifting the last of our third cut silage. I think I've got everything. I've got my camera, got water, got some snacks. The harvester's good. I've got 4 trailers. There's someone to buck rake and someone to use the compactor. It is gloriously sunny this morning. All of my grass has been tedded out, and hopefully it's currently being raked. So far, things are going pretty well. Let's hope it stays that way.
this. Ain't that some back home? Buddies in the field, mud on the wheels. Yeah, ain't that some thick smoke? Silverado, tearing up a two-lane road. Ain't that some C-O-U-N-T-R-Y? So we've been doing since we was J-High. There's folks out there ain't T-R-Y. This, man, ain't that some, ain't that some, ain't that some, ain't that some. My true north is due south, the blue core's going down, just like that setting sun. My OZ71. I know it's cliche to sing Chevrolets, cold beers and Fridays, but that's just the way it is out here. Ain't that some back home? Buddies in the field, mud on the wheels. Yeah, ain't that some thick smoke? Silverado, tearing up a two-lane road. Ain't that some C-O-U-N-T-R-Y? So we've been doing since we was J-High. There's folks out there ain't T-R-Y. This, man, ain't that some, ain't that some, ain't that some.
Okay. Looks like another really nice crop of grass. I haven't physically had time yet to get out and see how dry the grass is, but you can kind of get a sense when you're using the harvester as to what sort of dry matter it is. And you can also kind of judge from how it's going into the trailers. So it's definitely not going to be dry silage, but we are probably sitting at around 24-25%, something like that, which I will absolutely take all day long. Right, let's get this next feed lifted, then we're heading to the far side of Oma, and hopefully I'll have some time then to get out and show you everything. Ellie's phoning me, this is not good. Oh my goodness. I was sure the tractor had stopped. I was sure she was phoning me to tell me the tractor had stopped. Thankfully she just wondered where we were. Chat to you in 2 hours. I am now down to 3 trailers. The error code came back up on the 6465 that Ellie was driving, so we decided not to take the risk. So Ellie is now in the compactor, and David, who was using the compactor, is now off to get another tractor. So hopefully we should be back up to 4 fairly soon. But the nice thing about being down a trailer is that I get to get out and stretch my legs. And we can also take a look at the grass. So this field was not tedded. Most of the fields were tedded, but I didn't get a few of them done. So this is untedded grass that was mowed yesterday. Surface grass, lovely and dry. Underneath, it's pretty moist, but it's not wet. The harvester definitely prefers the grass which is not tedded. It is way, way easier and quicker to lift. Hence why we only use a tedder in an emergency situation. Whilst it is nice to get out to stretch your legs, I do hate being stopped. I think I'll only have this gap though, because I think this is when Ellie should have been here. I feel like I should have had a trailer by now. Maybe something else has happened as well. See you later on when we're in the reseeds. And then later on this evening, we'll be back at the pit with all of the third cut done and have to start the job of sealing it. This has been a bit of a disaster. Well, not a disaster, but I think I made a mistake. I should never have tedded this grass. It was a really heavy crop and I was worried about it drying out. And we normally don't ted grass. I think it's been 2 years since I have tedded anything. So I forgot how much of a pain in the butt it is to lift with a JF. It's probably been the worst 2 hours of my life. Make that nearly 3 hours. And I've only lifted 18 acres, if even. In fact, I haven't. I've lifted 15 acres in 3 hours. Let me show you the problem. No grass here, huge lump of grass. No grass here, huge lump of grass. The other fields earlier in the day which were tedded were also harder to lift, but they were possible to lift because they were a light crop. And in the video clips that you've seen before this part of the video from inside the cab with all the different trailers, that field was not tedded. That's why it was being lifted so easily. Smooth crop flow. See if I ever decide to ted grass again. Someone please give me a slap round the head and remind me about third cut 2025. I have the 3 little tiny fields done, so that leaves us with just that big field over there to do. And then I have 3 more fields consisting of 12 acres, which is a light crop to do right beside the farmyard to finish this off. Still no sign of trailers, so I might as well do something. Take some of this grass out of the reel. Oh, that's a real tight ball of grass. How the heck? Oh my days. Flipping tedded grass ruins my life. Never again. Never again. Anytime I've tedded grass before, it's always been like 1 or 2 fields. I've never just blanket tedded the whole thing. And man, do I regret it. Yes, the grass is dry. I actually have some chopped stuff. Let me go get it. Yes, the grass is dry. But at what cost? My sanity. That is just a nasty swathe of grass. I may have broke the harvester. We had to abandon the last 3 acres of that stuff because it was just impossible to lift. And it was so bad that it started getting wrapped around the auger. And I think that happened so many times that the slip clutch on the feed auger has heated up and possibly burned out. Oh, flip! So I'm now here at the last 12 acres, which is a nice, sensible, light crop of grass. I'm hoping my slip clutch doesn't give any problems because there shouldn't be that much force on the auger, and we should be done by 7 o'clock. I should have got the last field on video to show you just how bad them rows actually were, but I was extremely stressed. I had no gaps in between trailers because I was lifting it so slowly that they were keeping up with me, and I had planned to video the last load because it's the last load. Fundamentally, the problem was the grass was so bunched together that when the reel grabbed one piece of grass, it sucked in about 4 foot of grass in front of itself. Whenever it wrapped around the augers, if we pulled one bit of grass, it pulled the whole thing in a big line. Oh, I've never ever seen that before. And I will never see that again. Because from this day forward, I am never, ever using a tedder on this farm again. Absolutely mental. And why do I have no trailers? Oh, I cannot wait to be done. this day. I swear, I'm losing my mind. Some days things just go really well, and then some days everything goes wrong. Where are all my trailers? Right, let's see if the slip clutch is gonna work. There's a chance it doesn't work. I don't know what I do in that situation. Oh, back into normal grass. Oh, hallelujah. And this stuff was tedded as well. But this stuff is short. The other stuff was the reseed. It was a ridiculously heavy crop. It was long, straggly grass. Just a perfect storm of conditions and grass which should never have been tedded. Hopefully the next time you see me, I'm standing in front of a very full silage pit and I'm in a much better mood than I currently am. We're done. That's it. After the second cut, I had to change a bearing in the bottom toothed feed roller, and we only changed one of the bearings. So predictably, the other side has now collapsed. I don't think that's related to our issues with the other fields. I think it's probably just one problem leads to another problem leads to another problem. All of them feed roller bearings should have been changed last winter. And I suggested it, and I was told that there was no need to do that, and it was a waste of money. Well, I was right. Hello? This is the first time in a silage video where I've actually had some sort of like proper issues. And it's fine, we've managed to deal with the issues. The grass will still be in tonight. I will still get to Portrush, albeit maybe a little bit later than planned. So let's summarise. My goodness, what a day. The 6465 was throwing up an error code, so we had to pull it off the roads. The really heavy crop of grass at my father-in-law's really did not like being tedded, and it was an absolute nightmare to lift with a harvester. I lifted so many stones that the blades are really, really damaged, including one which is split in half. Forgot to tell you that part. And finally, I managed to break a bearing on the JF. With every passing minute, it's getting less and less likely I'm going to make it into the sea this evening. But we're not giving up hope just yet. Let me show you the collapsed bearing. I think I need to change all the bearings in this. I would never have noticed that bearing was actually broken, apart from the fact that we also managed to shatter a blade. And when I was spooling down the harvester, I heard a knocking sound, which was the broken blade catching. When the broken blade was catching, I got out and checked things, noticed the broken bearing. At that point, I decided, right, bad idea to keep using my harvester. We'll just phone my contractor, Henry Giles. He can lift the final 10 acres. He is now lifting the final 10 acres. Let's head to the silage pit, see how much grass is in it. I already know it's ridiculous. And then we are going to roll the silo and get everything ready to get it sealed tonight. You've got to be quick and adaptable whenever you're a farmer. Cows are in the house tonight because we didn't want to have to put them past the silage and block all of the trailers. So I did do some rolling with the tractor and compactor. Sorry I couldn't show you that, I had to charge my camera for half an hour. But I don't think there's a lot of point anymore in using the compactor because the silage pit is that full. How? Where on earth am I gonna put my fourth cut? It is definitely not gonna fit in them two silos. Just before we go start rolling with the little tiny tractor, the grass is moist, I would say, but it's definitely not wet. And absolutely zero effluent so far, which again, just proves what I'm saying. Just try not to get in the buckrake man's road. I can't make it past the third bay because my roof hits the roof. Hence why the compactor is not much use at this point. But it has been compacted the entire time it's been filled, so it is an extremely dense bit of silage. Now let's get the scraper off and get rolling with the same. You have never seen this on video before. This is a special moment. And definitely not how I thought this silage video was going to end. This is actually what my dad used to buckrake in right up until 1998. That's what it was bought for, to buckrake the silage. That's hard to believe in this day and age. Plenty of clearance. So this is what we want to roll. Not really compact, just sort of compress in and tidy up. I wish I knew how to select the low range. I don't. I need to be very careful here, I don't get stuck. I'm in low range. It's too low range. You're joking. That's third gear in low range. Well, that's not much use to me. That's actually third gear in low range. Flip my life. Back to high range. First gear. Oh, wrong way. Let's go. I've rolled the back 2 bays. Now we're gonna get them 2 old covers and stick them on the back. They still have 7 or 8 acres to lift, but I'm gonna make a start in this. These 2 covers are full of holes. So my plan is to double them up and try and get 1 good cover. I'll struggle on my own until they're finished. And then hopefully there'll be 4 of us to seal this silo. And then we're heading on our holidays. I'll bring you with me, and we still might get that swim in the sea. Maybe. Oh, that's all I can do until they're finished the silage. I got 2 bays on, got gravel bags all around the sides. It's 2 black covers, both with holes, and an oxygen barrier underneath. Oh, I'm sweating so much. You know, I never been able to do that until I started running. There's a lot to be said for physical fitness and farming. How is there this much grass? How? I know. This is going to be nearly the same height as that. Mental. It's too late, it's coming in like 2 weeks and I've already paid for it. Whoa, nearly fell. Oh my goodness. Nearly broke my ankle. That's the last load. It's up to us to get it fitted in there. That mowing calf is back from this morning. My camera's also nearly out of battery. So we're going to buck rake in this load, and then you're not going to see from me until the pit is covered. And then we'll head on our holidays. And less likely to go in the sea because it's going to be like 1 AM. But we'll see when we get there. Absolutely the best job at silage time is buck raking. And no one will convince me any different. Especially in a nice machine with a big buck rake, where you're not under too much pressure. Right, unfortunately I can't do this one-handed. You're gonna get shaky cam, okay? Apologies for the dubious camera angles. I have 3% battery, but we are nearly there. I'm just grabbing the front little bit to leave the track clear for the effluent. We'll pull the cover down, and that is third cut silage finished. And it started raining. That's us finished. I'm heading home now to get showered, and then we're heading to Portrush. It's like 20 to 11 at night. I've had a shower, I've got changed, I've packed my bag, I've got my emergency caffeinated drink. I'm hoping to get to the shop before 11 and get another emergency sugary caffeinated drink. And I'm about to head off on an hour and a half's drive. What a day. Mental. Hopefully I make it. Good morning. We made it to the seaside. I'll leave you here. Please don't fall in the sea. Yeah, it's really cold. Oh, is it? I don't believe you. That's all my problems fixed. So how do I summarise this absolute mess of a video? Massey Ferguson threw up a new error code. We tedded out grass that we definitely should not have tedded out, and I now have a ban on tedders. And finally we managed to break the harvester again. But in the end it was all fine. No one was hurt. All of the machinery can be fixed. We got all of our silage in dry, and I even made it to Port Stewart. And even though I didn't get a swim in the sea last night, I did get a swim in the sea this morning. And it's nice for you all to see that things don't always go to plan, which is very, very common in farming. And I feel like I've got very lucky over the last few years that I haven't had a day like yesterday. Anyway, we're going to leave this ridiculously long video here. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this, please do give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have any comments, stick them down below. I will see you next Saturday.